Welcome to episode 73 of Drew's Sports Crew. Not on a Monday morning, Monday afternoon. We're bringing it to you, and we have on Dan from Phantasia Labs, the founder. And look, I mean, this is an exciting episode because as everyone knows here, all the listeners here, you guys know, I mean, Phantasia Sports and Phantasia Labs has been, we've been collaborating with them here at Drew's Sports Crew, and like they're doing fantastic stuff over there. And I really want to have Dan on to talk about some of the new big announcements, kind of talk about where this came to be. Like, how did Phantasia Labs and now like Phantasia Sports, how did this all come to be? And with that, I mean, Dan, how are you doing on this Monday afternoon?
Hey, I'm good. So nice day in Chicago after Lollapalooza weekend. A lot of big events happen at Lollapalooza. I don't know if you got to check it out yet, but Solana had a big presence. So really cool to see Web3 being used in mass events like Lolla. Pretty crazy to see it. It happened last year as well, but this year they took it up another level. And I think year to year, it's going to keep growing and growing. So excited to be here. It's another day in Web3 and things are moving quick.
Exactly. And let's talk, kind of behind the scenes here, talk about what, and we're talking here about Phantasia Sports, right? So let's talk about, how this came to be and kind of that story, for the listeners. So like, just to kind of give a better understanding of kind of what you guys have going on. And look, full disclosure, I mean, you don't need to know anything in order to be a part of Phantasia Sports about crypto. I mean, I know it's the big thing. People are like, oh, it's cryptocurrency. I'm concerned with the volatility and whatnot. But like with Phantasia Sports, you don't need to be concerned with the volatility and with just overall the knowledge and the background of crypto. I mean, they do it all for you. They have the wallet. I mean, Dan, you can speak on this as well. Like, how much experience, if any, you don't need any really for crypto or in order to be part of Phantasia, right?
Yeah, that's totally correct. So one of our mission statements is to bring people into blockchain technology, and to accomplish that mission, as you mentioned, a lot of people are frightened by one, like knowledge barrier, two, volatility. So through the knowledge barrier, we make it as easy as possible and make it seem like a normal application, and really just have the blockchain technology work on the back end, so users can get the benefits without having to go through any of the struggle. And what that means is create a wallet through a phone number or email, and it's just you're signed into your application. So similar to other applications you might have signed in before, and that creates a wallet. And what that really means is just a place to store your currencies on the blockchain. And some of these currencies can just be a US dollar coin, which is 1-to-1 with US dollars and backed by a company called Circle, which is very credible. And for the users, what that means is they can purchase digital goods, which in crypto they're called NFTs, or join Phantasia Sports contests with their credit card, and they don't have to onboard any single crypto. We do that on the back end for you. So I think that's what you're alluding to, is just the back end is taking care for you, and it just, you get the benefits of blockchain infrastructure and technology and some really cool perks that we have on there as well.
Yeah, and I want to mention with your website here, kind of what you guys talk about, right? I mean, the number one blockchain powered peer-to-peer fantasy sports platform. That's what you guys are, and I mean that's what you guys will continue being. And to talk about it, what they offer, right? I mean, I know I posted about it a lot, but Phantasia, they offer the daily and season-long fantasy sports contests, and that's all securely, like you mentioned, stored on the blockchain. So those daily fantasy sports contests that you can create or join in seconds, and then you get paid instantly when you win. I can vouch for that because look, on Drew's Baseball Crew, that's the Tuesday thing, which full disclosure will be airing later tonight, Monday night, as a live stream for the first time ever. Really looking forward to that. But with Drew's Baseball Crew and, these daily fantasy sports contests, look, you enter them, you build your lineup, free entry, and you win their native fan token, which it's the ticker is $FANT, Fant. And I guess with that Phantasia token, do you want to kind of talk about it, about what it is like, and kind of like how you use it, right? I mean, there's a lot of questions with people as well.
Yeah, definitely. So some of the big use for it's complete utility token, meaning that it's used on the platform. So we have our Phantasia shop, which lets you buy Phantasia NFTs, and all that means is they're digital goods that can be traded, sold, or sent to a friend on the blockchain. So they're not like your cosmetics that you buy in other games where you can't ever take it outside of the platform. These ones you can have in your wallet, you can take with you. And some of them are vanity items, meaning they're just to put in your fan card, which is a digital identity concept that we came up with, and it follows you around the leaderboards, in-game chat, in contests, and that's kind of like your flex option to show off to your friends that you might have won a trophy or collected a cool item. Some other NFTs that we also have Fanbot utility NFTs, and what that means is it's our core NFT that we launched in November 2021, and these have some special perks. One of the perks being that when you're playing these daily fantasy sports contests, if you want lineup tools, for example, like setting your lineup, you only need to pick one player and then it sets a lineup for you, giving some like AI in the background. And then also there's like daily picks that you get. So essentially advanced analytic options where other sites make you pay for that off platform. This is kind of a perk. If you hold it, you can get that. On top of that, there's Fanbot Contest. So only if you hold a Fanbot, you can join these contests. So it's pretty cool because you're part of a community. You're playing against only people with the NFT and this immersed community. And then another perk that we do throughout the NBA and NFL season is for Fanbot only holders. In our Discord, we once a week give these alpha articles, and those alpha articles are just we have writers on our team who write about who are good picks for this week, what players might be sleepers, and all that kind of stuff, which only gets you that information if you're a Fanbot holder. So we're still exploring a bunch of different stuff on the NFT front, still a nascent industry. A lot of our users really love the Fanbots and getting the utility out of it and just showing them off. As you see on the leaderboards, people who play constantly all have their fan cards pretty tricked out, which is really awesome to see.
Yeah, and I like how you mentioned, right? I mean, you guys aren't done. There's a lot of still things in the works. I mean, there's still, look, I mean, right now it says on the website still, right? Mainnet beta. I mean, they're still looking into more features and stuff, and you guys are still expanding on things. And my favorite mission or sentence from the mission statement, or even like from the first thing on the website: know nothing about crypto or Web3, no worries. Skip the learning curve and focus on fantasy. I mean, we've already talked about that here in the episode, but it's just as easy as that. And you mentioned the daily fantasy contests and stuff. The support is what's the best thing, right? You can open up a ticket in there instantly, and you got people getting back to you right away. I mean, you're talking right to a customer service rep. You don't have to go through some sort of site where you have to just say what your problem is, and then you have to wait 24 to 48 hours. No, there's none of that there at Phantasia. That's another one of my favorite things too, to keep in mind. And I really want to hear more about this story though, Dan. So, how did Phantasia Labs here, really Phantasia Sports, how did this all come to be? Like what happened?
My background in what Phantasia Sports, like the concept came from is I'm a software engineer by trade, and I've been doing software engineering for quite a bit of time, and been obsessed with blockchain technology and really think it's the future, and a lot of cool applications can come out of it. Also, just as you, Drew, I'm a huge sports fan, and on top of that, a huge fantasy sports fan. Been playing fantasy football for over a decade now, and in season-long leagues, there's office leagues where you and your coworkers or whoever at the office or classmates might pool in and put $10 in a hat. Everyone puts that in, and someone holds it throughout the season, and at the end of the season pays out. Or you can do that with friends. That's one of the popular game modes. And season after season, I've been thinking, like, why is someone just holding these funds and they're sitting there? Because I mean, sometimes people put in $10, but there's also games that people put in thousands of dollars or whatever it is. But there isn't a need for counterparty risk, and that's the beauty of the blockchain technology, is you can put this all into a smart contract. It can be easily solved. Fantasy sports is a peer-to-peer game, and before like blockchain technology came into existence, there was really no like peer-to-peer aspects of internet applications, because they're all centralized entities holding your funds, your data, whatever it may be. So as the blockchain adapted, and year after year I was playing fantasy sports, I'm like, this would be like such a cool application of blockchain technology. And when Ethereum came out, I really thought about building it and just doing a side project on there, but gas fees started to get pretty rampant. And for users like myself, or even my friends who aren't super in crypto, it'd be very hard to convince them to use this product and pay a bunch of money in gas fees to just use something that's decentralized or peer-to-peer. And then when Solana came into existence, it really piqued my interest, because all its promises of being fast, cheap, and reliable, I was like, wow, this is amazing. This is like really what mass adoption could hold for blockchain technologies, and get normal users who, like my girlfriend, my mom, my friends, who may never use a wallet, but they can get in, and applications like Phantasia Labs or anything like that, they can pay for the users' gas fees because they're pennies, and that's not it's not a bad business expense for a company. So from there, I started really building out the Phantasia Sports product and wanted to see where it go, just as a side project, and easily caught traction with user base on Solana, and then ended up quitting my full-time job and going really full in on this, building a team, building a brand, and yeah, haven't looked back since really. And that's been a little bit over a year since, yeah, a
Awesome.
little over a year ago.
Yeah, I want to talk. So with Solana, right? You mentioned using that network over Ethereum, the gas fees, right? I mean, that's a great aspect to look at it. But why not any other network? Is just what else peaked out with Solana?
Yeah, one of the really cool things with Solana is the ecosystem around it. So that's what everyone kind of talks about in crypto, is like what other things are building, what other projects are on there, what kind of support. So we partner with a lot of different NFT projects and DAOs on Solana that use Phantasia Sports as a community tool that lets their community do things. And Solana is really the only blockchain in my mind when we started building that had an architecture layer and also like code that you could build on top of. A lot of the other blockchains that we examined were really nascent and didn't have documentation to properly start building a project on, which Solana definitely had. So the support for people who are building on top of Solana is second to none. When we first started the project, we really couldn't find that anywhere else. So the Solana team's been great. As I mentioned earlier in this episode, like they're really trying to push for mass adoption through events like Lollapalooza, any of the hacker houses they got worldwide, and bring developers, and then from developers bring cool applications and bring users onto the blockchain, creating this type of ecosystem for everyone to grow and strive to and like build together. That's really like what stands out to me about Solana.
Perfect. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of like you mentioned, that is what Fantasia is using. And look, it's been going great for you guys with that. And to talk about, like, I want to go back to the fan token, right? We talked about the native, right? I mean, the token on the platform. To talk about it too, I mean, there's also a staking, what way you can use it for that. And can you kind of explain to the audience what staking is and why should we stake it? How should we stake it, or how do you stake it, I guess? So floor is yours, Dan.
Definitely. So staking is a cool concept from a lot of different token projects. And one, it solidifies a network. Like you put it in there and held in a pot. But for Fantasia, one thing that it does give you is for users who are playing daily fantasy sports contests for paid contests, there's a 5% take fee that is sent to the DAO. And this is way cheaper than other options like DraftKings or FanDuel, which have a lot higher platform fees. So this is a 5% standard fee, but it goes all the way down to 0.5 depending on how much Fant you're staking. So the more you're giving back to the protocol and holding it in the reserves, the more discount you get on the fees. On the inverse of that, if you're someone who hosts contests, which might be a DAO, a user like yourself who has a big fan base of sports fans, and you are doing the marketing work and you're hosting the contests, you also get some platform sharing fees from the protocol. So the more Fant you stake there, the more protocol sharing you get as well. So those are some of the main uses of staking, and obviously always evolving as well, and continue building on that.
Exactly. And yeah, so I recommend, if you want to go out there and support the project, I mean, this is a perfect way to do so. It's really helping yourself out as well. I mean, with the fees and stuff, and even the fees if you don't even stake. I mean, you brought up the great point that I was going to bring up, right? I mean, the fees are a lot less than if you look at any other daily fantasy sports platform. It's, the fees, it's minimal compared to that. And with also the leagues too, I guess the great thing is they take care of the payment stuff for you. A lot of times, if I'm doing a league, for example, you got to reach out to people. You got to be like, you need to pay before we start. And, there's a delay sometimes in that process. But with Fantasia, what you do is you pay before you join the league. They take care of it. You choose the payout ahead of time. So, for example, the Drew Sports Crew 10-team league, join it. I mean, we still have some spots available, right? I mean, it's $5 entry and the payout's already set. I mean, I already set it right when it came out is how it works. And I believe we're doing 40, 15, or it's like 40, 15, and 5 if it's a 12 team, and then or 40, 10, and 5 or something like that. The payouts, whatever. But going through it, I mean, it's all taken care of is basically the point. And I don't have to look at it. I don't have to worry about paying people out. They do it for me. So I guess that's kind of like the innovative, right? I mean, someone like you, Dan, I mean, you've been playing fantasy sports, like you said, for years. So, that's got to be just a plus if you look at it from there, right?
Yeah, definitely. That's why we created just a solution for people who are deep into fantasy sports. It solves any user's need, from like a novice user to someone who is playing year after year and just a huge fan of it. So we want to make sure that anyone can participate, and all the hardships of hosting fantasy sports leagues is taken care of you by blockchain technology.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the story with that. And a few more questions here, Dan. there's some giveaway stuff that's going on, right? I mean, you guys have been posting with the launch. I mean, can you kind of explain some of those right now to the people? I mean, the big one we were talking about before was there's an Uber Eats giveaway. Like, how many fantasy sports platforms have done this? I mean, talk about it.
Yeah, so one thing that we thought would be really cool is everyone has a draft day somewhere. And I know the last couple of years with COVID and all, a lot of them have been virtual. But if you do host yours in person, we thought it'd be cool to reward some of our early users who signed up for this new product. So I believe it's the first 50 paid leagues that are sign up on Phantasia. They get entered into a raffle to win a $250 Uber Eats credit. And what the concept of it is, like, someone will get picked that's one of the 50 people, and I believe it's still going on. So you can sign up as of Monday, August 1st, and be entered in that. And from there, we hope that you win it, and then host a pretty kick-ass draft day party and order a bunch of wings or pizza or whatever it may be.
Yeah, I was telling my people, I'm like, if you get in this, I mean, if you guys want some Buffalo Wild Wings, I got you covered. So that was the one thing I was looking at. And then there's also, just some benefits of joining early, right? I mean, if you can get in the staking right away, if you get your fan token too, I mean, there's price appreciation upside with that is my other thing I've been telling people, right? I mean, looking at the market right now, there's certainly, potential just to hold the token, and there's just upside with that as well. So, I mean, Dan, I mean, there's a lot of reasons to hold the Phantasia fan token, and, using it in contests too is the other thing, right? I mean, you can use it in any sort of, there's just content strictly where you can enter your 50 fan entry and you can win on $100 fans, right? So you can do like a head-to-head kind of option. And will there be more of those kind of options in the future?
Yeah, so fan, as I mentioned, is a utility token on the platform, and you can buy different goods, you can stake, and you can also enter contests as a currency on the platform. Instead of using like traditional US dollars or Solana as another currency, you can use the fan token to enter contests and get paid out also in that currency.
Yeah, so I mean, there's just a lot of options with it, right? I mean, we're not giving investment advice or anything. We're just talking about, right, the upside and just the options you have with it. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can utilize the token. So I guess also we got to mention, so there's some sort of a partnership going around on the social medias. A lot of people have guessed who it is with a lot of letters going on. I don't know if you can give out any information about it. I'm not necessarily asking for that, but certainly seems like there's an exciting project in the works, Dan.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool things that we're doing right now. Things that we have announced. We partnered Legit Football, just a cool newsletter. We have Roto Radar, which is an amazing content house that's been producing fantasy sports contests for quite a bit of time. They're also getting into Web3, which is great to see other organizations in the sports get into it. And then, yeah, I think what you're alluding to is the partnership we're announcing shortly. I can't disclose all those details, but the hints are there. So keep guessing, and maybe you'll be right.
Yeah, and I mean, I've been trying to share it out. Full disclosure, I got the right answer. I confirmed with Scott, who came on the show to talk NBA Finals. Yes, I did get the answer right, but we'll leave it at that. You're gonna have to check it out and make a guess for yourself. But look, I mean, there's a lot of hype right now around this, and rightfully so. I guess, can you talk more? I mean, all right, daily fantasy football contest, I guess, because that's gonna be coming up soon, right? I mean, basketball was done. Baseball, we're over halfway through the season. We can expect a lot more of those weekly daily fantasy sports football options, right? Too, on top of the season-long leagues.
Yep, we'll for sure still have daily fantasy sports contests, which anyone can really create too. So that's a cool part. Anyone can create paid contests, who's in a jurisdiction that we accept. And then on top of that, English Premier League, which I'm absolutely hyped about as well. I'm a huge soccer fan. It's starting earlier than ever, starting August 5th, which is this weekend, and we'll have a contest for that since we are a worldwide platform with users all over the world. So it's pretty cool to see the diversification of sports that we offer, and English Premier League is one of them. So excited about that. And the reason it's starting so early this year is because the World Cup is happening in December, which with a mid-season break for English Premier League. And we're going to try to do some cool stuff for the World Cup as well. No things I can share yet, but hopefully next time I come on, I can share some things around that.
Exactly. Yeah. EPL. I mean, that's something I'm gonna have to look into. I'm a fan of soccer, but don't really follow, the game. And I'm looking forward to, maybe entering one of those on there, see if I can get some other listeners to join me, see how we can do in the world of soccer. But Dan, I mean, it was great to have you on today and really talk about Phantasia Sports, talk about, the future of fantasy sports is like what I like to say is you guys always like to mention that as well. And I'll be talking about more Phantasia Sports tonight on Drew's Baseball Crew was the other thing. So, yeah, thanks for coming on, Dan. I really appreciate it. And I guess where can people find Phantasia Sports?
Yeah, so you can check out our app on the App Store for iOS and also the Play Store for Google. And then just under Phantasia Sports, you can check out our website at phantasia.app, or you can go to Phantasia Sports on Twitter, and we have all our links to all our social medias on there. We have literally everything. So go check us out on whatever social media you prefer.
Yeah, and Phantasia, I mean, I've been posting like their account too, so you can just find it, if you go to at Drew Sports Crew on the Instagram and Twitter. And yeah, what I was alluding to earlier, talking about Drew's Baseball Crew. I mean, I'm going live for the first time ever, history of Drew's Sports Crew, 7 p.m. around Central. We'll be doing the lineups. I'll be going through stats and stuff, my favorite picks. Be making a lineup on the stream. It's gonna be, they're like 20 minutes. It's a nice little brief thing, but if you want to follow along, I'll be giving some my favorite player picks, and then if you also want to do some other lines or whatever for daily fantasy, but we'll be sticking with the Phantasia Sports lineup strictly. We're gonna be working through those, building the winning lineup. I believe it took fourth in one out of 100 something people last week, so it's pretty cool day. And I mean, just go check that out to everyone listening if you're interested, because it's a lot of fun. And like, join my league too. It's only $5 entry. We're doing a standard one. We're gonna try non-PPR, which Dan, I know might be a little not so popular, but Phantasia offers it. I usually do PPR. Is that where you go as well?
Yeah, I usually do PPR. We have both options. So, I mean, once your standard fills, maybe you can create a PPR as well.
Maybe I'll invite you and Scott. We'll see. That's stuff down the road. And yeah, again, thank you, Dan, for coming on. Really appreciate it. Really great to talk about, what you guys have going on, and kind of, it's great to be a part of it as well. So
yeah, thanks for having me on, Drew.
No problem. And yeah, kept this episode a little brief here, but wanted to get the news out. So yeah, thank you all for listening to yet another episode of Drew's Sports Crew, the perfect podcast for you.